Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday. It's the weekend. Woohoo! Guess what? The market cannot go down today. All right, there's a win right there. Anyway, today is Saturday, April 5th, and today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds, TSLY, CONY, NVDY, Misty, AMZY, SMCY, and PLTY. So let's just get right to it. Enough with the yip yap. Let's move on. Let's go. All right. So as always, I'm going to start with Misty. So I'm just going to scroll right down to get to our favorite fund. And oh my God. Yeah, a lot of trades. Look, from row 186 to row 224. So before I even go any further, I'm going to annoy the crap out of you and say, if you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. Yes, it actually matters. So yeah, just make sure to do that, and we will wait until you do. All right, you good? All right, check. All right, so anyway, for real, what do they do? Buy to close. All right, so we're going to cover this in the spreadsheet, but in looking at this, right, you don't see any put. There's no put action. So what does that mean? They did not touch any part of their synthetic, and they closed their calls for the week. Duh, right? That's what they do. And they open new ones for next week. So we will take a look and see what that looks like. So here we go. Where is the Misty files? Here we go. So they have a synthetic 330. This is the one that expires on April 17th. Again, today's April 5th. So we're getting close. It's actually only 11% away from profitable spot, from making money. So it's not all that bad. So let's move on. Again, the 250 was closed. The 260 was closed. And there is another 330. This 330, though, this expires May 16th. That has 42 days, so it's fine. And then there's the 290. That's kind of at the money. That also expires on May 16th as well. So anyway, let's just get to the weeklies tab. Here we go. So how did MSTR do yesterday? Well, it was a brutal day, for the market overall. But MSTR held strong. I mean, very, very impressive, outing. MSTR went up 4%. Throughout the day, it was all over the place, really. But in the end, they ended up 4%. MSTY captured 3.05% of that. So they almost missed 1%, but, it's okay. It's still $20 fund. Through this disaster that's happening with the market, Misty is still at $20. So talk all the crap you want, but what you got to say? I mean, come on, man. Come on, Cletus. All right, so let's zoom out. Again, I just want to get the out of the money. Here we go. Yeah. All right, so we're going to, again, there's just so much here. And there is some that weren't even closed, to be honest. So this is getting it's getting harder and harder each and every week to do this. And I keep saying I'm going to do a different format. But again, you know how it goes. There's never a freaking free moment of peace. So let's just go down the line. All right. Anything with a blacked out, I don't see where they closed it. So either it just expired or I don't know, man. All right, so here's this is 267 contracts. I mean, who really gives a crap about that? But they did pay 3 cents to close the 352.50 here. In the end, of course, yes, that's a win. $120,000, net profit for that trade. Scrolling down to this position, a little bigger, 5,454 contracts. This is also a 352.50. They paid 3 cents to close that one as well. And this one ended up in a profit of $2.4 million. So did they win? Yeah, they win. All I do is win, no matter what. So here we have 6,000 contracts. This has a 355 strike price. By the way, real quick, MSTR closed at 293, so keep that in mind. because if MSTR's price is below the strike price of the calls that they sold, it's going to be very, very cheap to close them. And it is right here, as you see, 3 cents. 3 cents. So what does that mean? Well, it means it cost them $18,000 to close. But guess what? They got $2.2 million when they opened that position. So in the end, they kept $2.2 million for that one trade. That one stinking little trade, $2.2 million. I know we share this, this fund is shared. There's a lot of outstanding shareholders here, but it's interesting to look at. Again, what is the point of this stupid channel? The point of this channel is just to show the trades, right? The trades and how the funds work, because it is important to understand how, instead of just looking at it from the outside and say, oh my God, this is good, this is bad, whatever, either direction, who cares? Let everyone just yip yap all they want on the outside, right? But if you understand how this fund works, then obviously that puts you in a competitive advantage. All right, let me quit yapping and continue. This, it says 600 contracts right here, 330 strike. Where we got? Oh, 8 cents, cost a little more, 8 cents, woohoo. And $196,000 in profit on that trade. And then again, anything below, it's typically the call credit spread. This one though, they bought a call, I don't know, it had 711, but yeah, they're only gonna get like a penny for those buy calls, but it's all good. So here we have 2,500 contracts, 332.50 strike. They paid 2 cents. That's fine. In the end, they made about 997,000. Again, the offset down below, of course, the buy call 187,000. You can deduct, but again, I find it's just easier not even to get into that. It's a waste of time to talk about those unless they're actually, unless we're using that's the insurance policy, unless we actually use it. All right, continuing down the line, 5,300 contracts, 330 strike. They paid 8 cents to close this one. So if you scroll all the way to the right, profit loss, they made about 1.9 million on that trade. So that's pretty good. And then we have 2,541 contracts right here, 335 strike price, 7 cents to close. Is that good? Yeah. Hello. $968,000 in profit on that one. So you can't go wrong. Let's continue. We'll skip the buy calls. Here we go. 4,009 contracts right there. 330 strike, actually, and 7,000 right next to it. 330 strike, both only 8 cents to close. You can see they got 348 credit, 369 credit. Obviously, this is a win. They made 1.3 million and then 2.5 million. So yes, cha-ching, and cha-ching. So what happens, guys, just to recap real quick, when they open these positions, and these right here in particular, they opened them on March 28th, they got this credit, $1.3 million and $2.5 million. That went into the cash bucket. But at the same time, that sold call, it would show the expense that it cost to close it, which was 1.3 million and 2.5. So you really wouldn't see the gains on that day. But as time goes on, right, as time value went on and we expired on April 4th, yesterday, this 1.3 and 2.5 that it cost went all the way down to 33,000 and 57,000. So again, yeah, we didn't make the full amount. We never make the full amount because they always have to pay to close it because they want to use the contracts for the following week. But in the end, they actually kept 1.3 million and 2.5 of it. I mean, that's why these funds are amazing. Again, sometimes we get our asses handed to us. It happens. But, it's just good to see some wins in a market like this. All right, let's just continue down the line here. 7,150 contracts. Here we go. We got a 320 strike. 7 cents it cost to close that one. Cheap. 3.4 mil. That's profit, baby. But, deduct the buy call, of course, it's about 3 mil. That's fine. It's good. All good. Whatever. All right, so here's 11. This is a big position. 11,225 contracts. Did they win it? Yes, they did. 7 cents to close that sucker. How much did they make? 5.5 million. Take out 851,000 though. Again, it's about 4.6 million. So that's good. Another win. Going down the line All right, 3,368 contracts, 9 cents to close this one. It's a 332.50. They made about $1.3 million on that one. So, okay. Cha-ching. That's all you got to say. Cha-ching. All right, a lot of trades here. I know, I'm sorry. 4,540 contracts, 337.50. They paid 5 cents to close that one. Again, basically nothing. They made $1.4 million on that trade. All right, show me the money. All right, here, there's two different contracts here, 2,314 and 5,290. They both have a 330 strike. They probably closed them at different times. This one, they closed it for 16 cents per share. This one, they closed it at 8 cents per share. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. They won. So on one, they made 770K, and one, they made about 1.8 million. So that's good. Check. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. All right, continuing down the line. These are, and now we're into next week. So these were the ones that were opened on April 3rd. I always feel like there's something crawling on me. It's not worth talking about. We're going to go to the holdings for that, and then you go down further, and then here's April 4th, all the trades that they added for yesterday. And again, it's too hard to read it from this sheet anymore. That's why we just go here. We go here, and we go to the holdings tab. By the way, there's another buy call. It's like happens every week. There's a buy call just chilling in the holdings, 4/4 expiration. But who cares, man? Let it rot. Let it sit there. Let it just whatever. All right, let's just skip that, and we'll show you what we have heading into next week. Are we prepared for a super green recovery? Not like we're gonna have one. You never know. Maybe we will, but we kind of aren't, honestly. Let's see. We have our largest position is our lowest strike price, and it's a very large position. 48,403 contracts, 310 strike price, 5.58% out of the money. That is a little too close for comfort. But again, this has been working. They've been winning their trades because MSTR, it's been going all around throughout the week for the most part. Crypto's at a standstill. So it's hard to imagine we won't win this trade. But you never know, man. You never know. I just feel like that pop is due. But hey, whatever. Anyway, 2,500 contracts. Anyway, I'm not going to go through all of them, but they have a 310, a 315, a 320, a 325, and a 330. 310 is the key because that's really the biggest position, but they are scattered-doo from 5 to 12% out of the money. Again, next week, let's wait. Let's enjoy this weekend. We won freaking almost every single trade for the most part. But again, it makes sense because we're in a rough market. Although MSTR, as we saw, went up yesterday. So we're getting the best of both worlds. Fund went up yesterday. And guess what? We won our trades. Something wrong with the Google Sheets formula, 30-day IV not updating. That better fix itself for the guesstimate video on Sunday. But anyway, 30-day IV not updated. Outstanding shares, 110,375,000. Total net income. That's right. We have net income. Alert. We're making money. Cha-ching. Cha-ching. 4.6 million. Again, we were losing money. Now we just turned a profit. So take that. Just in time for the guesstimate video. All right, how much is that how much is that total? 4 cents. All right, 4 cents per share. Daily income, it comes out to like 0. Daily yield, and annualized 3%. I know. Anyway, reaction: the power of Bitcoin. Look at it. You can't. I mean, how does Bitcoin do when the market tanks? Well, it was tanking with the market, it seemed, and then it kind of separated itself yesterday. I didn't really follow Bitcoin yesterday, but MSTR did, so I'm assuming Bitcoin was pretty stable. It's very, very impressive that it did stand strong. So that's my reaction. Anyway, Group D declares on April 9th, 4 days away. So stay tuned for that. Payment information, synthetic income, we have 228 million. That's how much we made during the 4-week cycle. Again, we still have, Monday and Tuesday, and then they declare Wednesday morning. So this is kind of the data that we're going to use before we give the guesstimate on Sunday. So anyway, yeah, they made 228 mil in the synthetic, 4.6 mil on the weeklies. And that is a total net income of 233 mil. So we will just use the total income per share bucket, and that shows $2.11. So yeah, we are back above $2. So yeah. Wins, losses, 80 wins, 39 losses. I would show the IV estimate, but yeah, it's broken. So I can't even show the low estimate. So the biggest question of the week is, will Misty pay $2? Will they pay $2 or more? It would be nice, but I really just don't see it. Sorry. All right. Anyway, let's get to the holdings. How we doing? We got a 330. We got a 290. We got a 330. Are they gold diggers? Probably, but let's move on. Yeah, the total net asset value of the fund is 2.2 bill. Again, still holding strong. The NAV is at 2058, trade price 2063. I should probably turn the freaking heater on. But yeah, synthetic is not really profitable at this very moment, but let's give it time, man. All right. Anyway, that's Misty. That's the update on Misty. So what we do on Saturday is we go through all the funds. All right. So as you can see, when we scroll, we have TSLY. We have, who else we got? NVDY, AMZY. Yeah, so pretty much everyone had a trade. And we're going to skim through everyone. And then we're going to go through the ones that we cover as we run into them. Sound good? All right, great. I'll try to make this as fast and painless as possible. All right, TSLY, buy to close 2 cents. That's a win. Buy to close 2 cents. That's a win. 3 cents. That's a win. 2 cents. That's a win. 1 cent. That's a win. 2 cents. That's a win. So obviously, Tesla took a hit yesterday. Overall for the freaking week, to be honest. So their calls were very, very cheap to close. And obviously, yes, they opened new ones. But we'll take a look at the new strike prices on our handy dandy spreadsheet over here. All right, so here we go. How did Tesla do yesterday? Tesla did horrible yesterday. Tesla went down 11.63%. Because again, the market has a very negative reaction to the tariffs that are in place at the moment. So it is what it is. We had 2 really red days. And Tesla, obviously, was one of those red stocks. TSLY went down 10.88%. So TSLY went down, a little less than Tesla. So that's good, right? That's good. But it still went down double digits. So let's not necessarily throw a party here. All right. So how is their synthetic doing? Again, the synthetic mimics the movement of the underlying. And for the commenter yesterday that asked, what does a gold digger mean? Let me first explain to you. You take my money when I'm in need. Yeah, she's a trifling friend indeed. Oh, she's a gold digger. Way of time that dig on me. Oh. All right. Anyway, enough of the yip yap and singing and this and that and the other thing. And like, what the heck? What does it mean? Get to the freaking point. So, all right. When you open a synthetic position, you do a buy call and you do a sell put. Okay. This is the sell put. And down below, there's the buy call. So here's a 355 sell put. And then here's a buy call, 355. Same number of contracts, 9,798. But at the time when they opened this position, it would have been close to or at the money. So Tesla would have been at 355 when they opened that position. But what happened since that date when they opened it is Tesla went down. It went like this, down to down, 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 down. And what happens when it goes down is it, again, the value, the put becomes, not good because we have to cover that gap, right? If it went up above the 355, the call would become very, very profitable and we'd make money on it. But since it did not go up, the call is basically getting close to worthless. We see here it's worth 17 cents per share. Up here, this is how much it costs to close the put, $115. So, obviously that's what pushes, when we say it mimics the movement of the underlying, this is what makes it move. The sold put, makes our total net asset value move down, because obviously, $115 to close this position per share, that hurts. But, that's the movement of the underlying. There's nothing you can really do. It is what it is. But why do we call it a gold digger? Because as far as the synthetic is concerned, the pink is the lady, the orange is the dude. So the pink lady wants our money. The pink lady wants 112 million. The dude is only walking around with 166,000 in his wallet. The girl wants 112 mil, right? She wants, she wants the expensive car. She wants 10,000 pocketbooks, 50 shoes, a bigger house, more room. She wants it all, and we just can't give it to her. So that's why we sing Gold Digger. Sometimes we sing it, or we'll just reference it. But that's why this 355 is the Gold Digger. All right, I hope that explained it, whoever asked that in the comments, because it's hard for me to type that explanation in the comments. All right, so let's look at our trades for next week. Let's go, baby. Let's do it. Let's go. All right, TSLY, are you ready? They got 4 strikes, 257.50, 260, 260, 250, and 265. 7 to 10% out of the money. Is that safe? Okay, man, you just don't know in this market. You just don't know. Yes, they got buy calls everywhere. They got all kinds of insurance, so we'll see how all this plays out. The value of the TSLY fund is 836 mil. The NAV is 773. Trade price 772. Overall synthetic value 62 negative. Oh, 30-day IV works for Tesla. Yeah, sucker. Oh my God, look at that IV on Tesla. 92.4%. I love it. IV estimate based on that 55 cents. Income estimates in the negative, so we can't really use that. By the way, Group A declares, after Group D, right? Not next week, but the week after, 11 days away on April the 16th. Makes sense? Great. Wonderful. Oh, yeah. Let's look at the 7-day. I wanted to look at that. 7-day movement of Tesla. Over the past 7 days, Tesla has gone down 10% and TSLY has gone down 7%. Hey, good job, TSLY. All right, let's go to the trades. Here we go, baby. Let's go down the line. We talked about TSLY, everyone's favorite fund. I'm kidding. And here's Oark. Buy to close. What did they do? Buy to close what? 3 cents? Okay, they closed that and they closed that. So they won 2 of their trades. And then they opened a new position for 44.50 for next week. 6% out of the money, okay, on that one. And then a 45 strike, 7.3% out of the money. So you Oark holders, you suckers out there, I don't know. I don't know if you're good either for next week. All right, here's Appley, safe, boring, just does the job, Buy, call, sell, put. All right, so they're adding new money to the synthetic, new money going into the fund. They closed out some calls. They paid a penny there, and they paid a penny there. All right, so they opened new calls for next week. Here's a 202.50, 7.5% out of the money. And then here's another 202.50, 7.5. So 7.5% out of the money is the magic number for Appley for next week. Here's our boy NVDY. I think they had a lot of trades, so let me take a sip of water. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, so what they do, bunch of buy to closes. Let's see how many trades. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's just look. 2 cents, win. 1 cent, win. 1 cent. Okay, penny. All right, so NVDY won all their trades. That's all you need to know. NVDY won all of their trades. What did they open for next week? I don't know, but we're going to go to the file for that. It's easier to read. So we go right here, loading. Slow. This file's getting too big, I guess. Anyway, so how did Nvidia do yesterday? Nvidia went down 7.94%, and NVDY went down 7.73%. So NVDY pretty much went down as much as Nvidia, so that kind of hurt. But it still did better than Nvidia. But again, yesterday was brutal. I don't know if anyone knows Zoxel, but oh my goodness, that is the chip ETF. Whew, triple leverage. Double and triple leverage funds in this environment. Whew, little rough. Anyway, let's move on. The synthetic position for NVIDIA is 110, 115, and a 130. NVIDIA is at 94. So as far as I'm concerned, these pretty much all gold diggers. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to sing on every single fund. So, the market's down. What can you do, man? What can you do? So let's just look at our calls for next week and see if we're going to win. So we have a 99 strike, a 100 strike, a 101, a 102, a 108, and a 109. So they are prepared. They are all over the place. They are 4, 6, 7, 8, 14, and 15% out of the money. That's a nice spread right there. And they do even have a buy call in between, a 107. So that's good. Have insurance policy right in the middle. The value of the fund is 1.1 bill. The NAV is 1344. The trade price around the same, 1346. Synthetics in the negative. 30-day IV is not working here either. So sorry about that. Income estimate though, man, 36 cents per share. So again, they are actually making income. That's pretty good stuff. They're part of Group B, and they declare in 18 days on April the 23rd. All right, sound good? Obviously, AMZY would be next, so let's get that all set up for you guys. But let's go back to the trades. Let's see what they did yesterday. AMZY, there you are. Hi, AMZY. How are you? All right, buy to close, 3 cents. Yeah, that's a win. And then they open a new trade for next week. 182.50, 6% out of the money. But let's see what else they got. All right, so before we get there, Amazon, yeah, man, it went down. Everything freaking went down except MSTR. Amazon went down 4.33%. AMZY went down 3.91%. Yeah, everything went down, down. How's their synthetic doing? As you know, they were in a very awful spot in the prior synthetic. And then they rolled their synthetic down, and now they're getting an awful spot again. But it is what it is, man. They have a synthetic 190. Amazon is currently at 171, but again, their synthetic expires in May. And, this tariff crap, is it an overreaction? Are we going to have a recovery anytime soon? Who the freak knows, right? Who the hell knows? Anyway, they have two positions, 182.50 strike and a 190, 6 to 11% out of the money. Normally on Amazon, I'd say, yeah, that's a win. I mean, they ain't going up higher than that. But after the beating they took, actually, let's take a look. The beating over the past 7 days. Wow, yeah. See, Amazon went down 12%, 12.7% the last 7 days. So, woof. AMZY went down 11.24% in the past 7 days. All right, so the value of this fund is still, it's a quarter mil. The NAV is 14.59. The trade price is the same. Synthetics in the negative. 30-day IV works for Amazon, and it's, oh my God. When's the last time you've seen Amazon's 30-day IV at 60%? You just don't. So if you trade options on Amazon right now, it's going to pay you. And that's pretty freaking sweet. Think about double leverage fund on Amazon, 120% IV. Oof. Anyway, the IV estimate based on that would be 68 cents. So that could be around the number I'm going to give you tomorrow. Anyway, because they declare next week, 4 days away. They're with Misty, right? All right, up next is CONY, but first we have to continue down the trade line here. All right, hi, GUI. Oh, wait, so what does GUI do? Buy to close, 2 cents. Obviously, they won their trade, of course. And they opened a new strike price for next week, 155. That is 6.46% out of the money. And then Phoebe, I'm surprised they never updated the ticker on this one to like MEDI or something. But they did it to XYZY or whatever. But whatever. And so they closed their call 2 cents, 3 cents. So yeah, they won. Let's see their new strikes though. 530, 5% out of the money, and then 530, 250, 5. So basically 5% out of the money you're looking at for Phoebe for next week. All right, up next is NVDY. They closed their call 4 cents. All right, and then they opened a new one right here. 927.50 strike price, 8.37% out of the money. I like that. That's good for NVDY. All right, and then here's CONY. All right, so what did they do? Well, what do you think they did? They closed a bunch of trades, and they won 5 cents. Great, 5 cents, 3 cents. Obviously, if you pay in the cents, under 10 cents, you're going to win. And they won all of their trades, which is good. But again, they're synthetic down. So let's go check that out. My fridge is making some funky noises down here. I need LA, the appliance guy, to get over here. All right. I'm only in New Jersey. I think you can make the call here. Anyway, so how did coin do yesterday? Coin went down 6.36%. Yeah. CONY went down more. What the heck? Wow. That is unusual where the ETF actually goes down more than the underlying. So I don't know why. It's not too much, but still, man, CONY went down more than coin. CONY went down 6.8%. Interesting. All right, so let's look at their synthetic. Oof. It's bad. Oh, I'm sick of looking. I don't even want to look at the synthetics, you know. If it's okay with you guys, maybe we just skip over it. I know I won't sing, but I should. Anyway, they have a 185 and a 220 synthetic. Coin is at 160, so you can imagine the expense to close that sucker. All right, so here's our trades for next week. And yes, everything expires Friday, right? The sell call's out 1 week. That's how it goes. 4 strike prices, 170, 175, 180, 182.50, 5, 9, 12, and 13% out of the money. So are they set up for a nice win? I don't know, man. I really don't know. If there's a huge recovery, no. Absolutely freaking not. They could blow right through these. But in this market, I'm not going to say nothing because I don't know nothing, right? Just another schmuck in a garage recording videos on a phone. Who would listen to this guy? Anyway, the value of the fund is 831 mil. The NAV, oh my goodness, 688. The trade price, 676. I didn't know they're under $7. That just looks ugly. Look at the 30-day IV on this one. Ooh, 93%. Wow. IV estimate based on that, 49 cents. Income looks to be flat. And Group C declares in 25 days. Again, they just declared this week. That's why. So they declare on April the 30th, all right? Up next is SMCY. It's going to be a while till we get to them, right? So let's go back to the trading file or the trading desk. All right, MSFO, again, safe, boring fun. Are they winning too? Yes, they are. 9 cents. Cha-ching. All right, so what's their new strike for next week? 385 strike price, 6.99% out of the money. Good job. All right, here's Disso, everyone's favorite theme park. I haven't been to Disney in forever. Ever. I always liked Disney. I know it's a freaking ripoff nowadays, but I got to take my kids there sooner or later. Buy to close 1 penny. That's a win. All right, so they open a new trade. Sold a call, $87 strike, 4% out of the money. ExxonMobil, or shall we say Exomo or Zomo. Buy to close 1 penny. I mean, it can't get much cheaper. So they won their trade. They sold a call 110, 5.42% out of the money. JPMO. All right, what's this fund at? This fund's always been doing good. It's still holding strong, $14, not terrible. Buy to close 2 cents. Buy to close 12 cents. Yeah, they won their trade. And they open new position for next week. A 222.50, 5.81% out of the money. And then a 237.50, 12.94% out of the money. So interesting there. AMZY, buy to close put. All right. When you see a buy to close put, it's either they're closing their synthetic and moving it to a different strike price, or people sold out of the fund. In this example, you only see one put transaction, so people are selling out of the fund, so they had to close out some of the synthetic. So that's why. It cost them about 1.1 mil because their synthetic is much higher than the current value of the stock price. Anyway, buy to close on their calls here, penny. So they won their trades, and then they sold a call for next week. Here's a 90, that's 4.94% out of the money. And then we go here, here's a 92, 7.28% out of the money. And then it's everyone's favorite fund, PP, because everyone's got to go PP, right? And buy to close 6 cents, all right? Win. It's not a penny, but who cares, man? Who cares? $61 strike price, all right? That's 4.51% out of the money. Is that good? Yeah, man, that's good. All right. Actually, intermission. Let me get a sip of water. All right, we're good. XYZY, this worst ticker ever. They had to close some of their synthetics. Let's just skip through that. Buy to close, 5 cents here and 2 cents there. They opened a new position, $53 strike price, 5.45% out of the money. 53, 5 point. Okay, so 53 is the magic number for them. MSTY, probably the fund that took the biggest beating. I don't even want to look, but I got to look. Oh my God, $2.46 is the current price of this ETF. But anyway, yeah, did they win? Yes, they did. They paid a penny to close out their position, and they sold a call for next week, 26.50, 5.5% out of the money. AIYY is next. By the close 3 cents, they won their trade, and they opened a new position for the following week, 20.50 strike, 7.95% out of the money. We covered Misty, so we can scroll through this mess. And now we got YBIT. What are they doing? Buy to close, buy to close, buy to close. Wait a second here. No buy calls, no credit call spread position. They're selling calls with no buy call? What? All right, so they sold a call for what? 50? 4% out of the money? 50? And then 49.50. Ooh, it's not really far out of the money, though. Only 3 to 4% out of the money for YBIT? That's crazy. Crash. Again, I don't want to talk about inverse funds. I really, the one time I tried to cover them, they are so confusing. And to be honest, they're the ones making money. I get it, man. Actually, how is Crash doing? What's their price? 730. Yeah, they don't do good enough. But anyway, GDXY, gold. Everyone loves gold, right? Gold bar. Give me a gold bar so I can sit and look at it. By to close a penny, they won their trade, and they sold a call, 43.50, 4.37% out of the money for next week. Here's SMCY. Underlying is Snow, right? It's like a software company. 6 cents to close their call, and they open a new one, 141 strike, 8% out of the money. All right, guess that's good. Airbnb fund, AMZY, buy to close 3 cents, and they sold a call, 113, 5.94% out of the money. And then here's Fiat, another inverse, Dips, another inverse, YQQQ, another inverse. And then we get to TSMY, Taiwan Semiconductor, by to close 1 penny, sold a call right here, 155 strikes, 5.59% out of the money. Obviously, yeah, you could see, by the way, I don't really mention how much they make, but this is, when they open the positions, they sell a call. This is how much they made, 626,000. Again, I'm assuming, as I cover these other funds, the more important piece is how far out of the money they went. But you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Like, if you really care about how much they made income-wise, I can do that as well. Keep in mind the video will be even longer. Buy, call, sell, put. Here's SMCY. Here's our boy SMCY. Buy, call, sell, put. They're adding new money into the fund, so they added to their synthetic, so we can skip that part. Buy to close, 5 cents. Buy to close, 5 cents. Yes, they're winning their trade, and they're opening new positions. But we can go look at their overall position in the SMCY files. All right. Here are the SMCY files. SMCY yesterday, how'd you do? Not good, right? They went down 8.38%. SMCY went down even more, 8.82%. So a rough outing, to say the least. How's their synthetic? They have a $57 synthetic. SMCY is currently at 29. So yeah, their synthetic is not in a good spot. And it expires April 17th. So that's going to be a loss. No way around that one. But as far as the weeklies, let's take a look at this one. They're selling calls. 31 and 35. 3 to 17% out of the money. I mean, that's scattered with 2 positions. The 3% out of the money may not be safe. Again, they probably opened that one. I don't know when, actually. But that's tight. But we'll see how the market goes. Next week could be just as bad as the last 2 days. I mean, I hope not, but you just don't know. I mean, how much further can the market really go down? At some point, we got to be like, all right, I need money. I'm going to put more money in the market. Anyway, the value of the fund is 100 mil. The NAV is 1820, trade price 1825. Synthetics in the negative. So let's just go to the IV. The IV is unbelievable. 124.97%. 30-day IV on SMCY. That is freaking awesome, man. Awesome. IV estimate $1.75. They're part of Group D, and they declare when? Next week, 4 days, April 9th. Duh. Okay. Fridge is still making fart noises. What is going on? All right, so here's PLTY, but let's just see what kind of trades they got going on there. Yep, they're right here. Here's PLTY by the close, 2 cents, fine. By the close, 6 cents, fine. So what does that mean? What does that mean? It means they won their trades. And here's a sold call, 83 bucks, 12% out of the money. Actually, no, duh. I'm gonna go over it in the file. So what am I doing? Fart. You guys hear it? Anyway, Palantir. Oh wow, yeah. Palantir had a rough day. They went down 12.96%. PLTY went down 13.42%. Yeah, it went down more than the underlying. They're synthetic now. It's been in a profit forever, and now it's finally under. Palantir's at $74 stock price. Their synthetic is 80 bucks. So yeah. What can you do, man? What can you do? PLTY, let's see their strikes. Let's see if I hit the fridge. What in the actual hell is that noise? Yeah, let's open it. That didn't do nothing. Oh, it's a freezer. Maybe because it's... something touching the ice maker button. Ice. The ice maker switch was on. Ay. That's not good. I don't think. Anyway, here you go. LA appliance guy. I fixed my own thing. You don't have to come to New Jersey. Sorry for the interruption. PLTY, they have 3 strikes. 81, 83, and a 91. 9, 12, and 22% out of the money. They are scattered-to-do. I like their positions. Let's see. The value of this fund is 153 mil. The NAV is 5065. Trade price 5076. Synthetic, unfortunately, is in the negative. 30-day IV, 100%. Yeah. IV estimate 391. Group B declares in 17 days. 17 days. All right. Before we get to the final trades, again, I'm tracking the group's value. I'm just going to show you so far who's making money since their declaration date. Oark overall making money, SMCY making money, TSLY making money, Babo making money, Marrow making money, Murny making money, Nvidia doing very well. They made 29.7 mil. PLTY 1.9 mil, AMZY making money, AMZY, CONY making money, Neptune making money, and PP making money. Again, this is just taxable income since their latest declaration date. All right. Keep in mind, their synthetics are still open, right? They could probably, the losses on the synthetic could override anything that they made on the weeklies. But time will tell. We'll see how that all develops. All right, let me go through the rest of the trades, and then we'll call it a day. Here's Marrow, buy to close, 1 penny, great. And then they sold a call, 12. What the? Marrow's at $11.30. This is unfreaking believable. I mean, I can't even, this is crazy. All right, anyway, they sold a call for 12, 6% out of the money. Here's Winter. Again, that's an inverse fund. Not going to talk about that. And then there's Ulti. I don't talk about Ulti or these other GPTY because they're just like, it's just chaos. But you don't even have to look to understand that, yes, they've won their trade. Of course they won their trade. All right? How could they not in this type of market? Because they're selling calls, right? So anyway, that's pretty much it. That's the update. So as always, this is it's definitely not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you were entertained. If not, I don't know what to tell you, man. Maybe next time. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it is what it is. If you enjoy this content, as I mentioned earlier, please hit the like button. If you have questions for me or concerns, leave them down in the comments below. Yeah, ignore the random comments about X1 crypto. I still get spam not as bad as before, but I get a lot of spammer comments out there. I'm also getting questions. What happened to Kamir? So to answer that, I don't really know, but from what I understand is something happened where he was advised to shut down his YouTube from his superior. I mean, it's very, very unfortunate. We will all miss him. So I hope he's doing well. Kamir, shout out to you. Again, hopefully we could stay in contact somehow. I'm not sure how, but yeah, it's unfortunate. Hopefully he can come back when he retires from his full-time gig, and we'll all be a big happy family again on YouTube. But that's my understanding, because again, I think I got like 5 comments at least asking about the status of his channel. But if you want more information, I believe his Discord is still active. You can go there. But yeah, shout out to Kamir. Hope all is well. All right, outside of that, what do we got? That's it, man. That's it. This is a long video. We're shutting down, right? We got a lot of baseball today. So what's today? Today is pretty much opening day, even though we played Wednesday, because they do a big parade for the kids, march with the signs, yay, 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 and then we play right after. All right. So that being said, it's time to get to the keywords. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you have to type down in the comments the keyword of the day. The keyword of the day is actually, you know what? I was gonna say parade, but I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna say we will miss you, Kamir, because we will. I know there's a lot of people that have something to say about him, but most of those people are probably just jealous that he built out a huge community. He's very successful in what he did. So I'm just gonna say today's keyword is, whether you like it or not, I don't care, is we will miss you, Kamir. And again, Kamir was a YouTuber called We the Kamirs. He talked about YieldMax, and he basically had like a live talk show kind of set up, which was pretty cool. But yeah, man. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you got to type in the keyword, and the keyword is we will miss you, KHMER. All right. Sound good? Great. Wonderful. Now that's it. I'm going to end it there. Let me get to it. Again, parade starts very soon, so I got to get set up for that, because I got to get there earlier, because I am the manager. The manager got to do that. They got to set the right example. All right. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you for watching, guys. Seriously, thank you for watching. Again, Saturday videos, options video. I'll do my options update on the Monday recap. Dry series, unfortunately, that has to take a back seat. I just don't have the time anymore. But I will have the estimate video out for you tomorrow morning. Again, I'm doing 1 video per day going forward until baseball season is over. It's basically all I can do. And, sorry for, I know a lot of people did like the dry series. I did too. I mean, I loved it because I invest in those funds and I like to know how they do, but it's a lot of work. But like I said, hopefully I'll pick it up, at some point in the summer, and we'll resume. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, guys. All right. Anyway, guys, for real, thank you for watching, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. We will talk soon, or maybe we'll talk tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will see you tomorrow. You're only a day away.